the dawn of a new fantasy football season. The annual campaign, where triumph is fleeting, controversy is constant, and somewhere along the way, a football might actually be kicked. This is a league built on history, strategy, and if the group chat is any indication, outright chaos. And at the center of that chaos, the great keeper debate. A 5-player retention system was locked in by popular vote. Or so it seemed. Jack Mernin of Nana's Red, in a move that would have impressed even the great election riggers of history, attempted to change his vote to 8 after the fact. But Commissioner Jamie Easton, ruler of Big Nov's Bath Salts, stood firm. 5 keepers, no more, no less. Democracy lives on barely. Now, if only draft order selection was as smooth. Those absent from the prestigious season launch dinner, Mernin and Phil Evans of the Filthy Frogs, were dealt the cruel hand of low draft picks. Though given the snake format, one might argue they ended up better off. Still, protest ensued, as it always does. And speaking of protest, reigning champion Daniel Ibbs, coach of Stormy Daniels, has spent his off-season attempting to offload an injured Elliot Yeo for players of actual value. His trade offers have been met with responses ranging from laughter to outright hostility. With his title defense underway, the league's collective attitude toward Ibbs sits somewhere between begrudging respect and active sabotage. Meanwhile, Jack Mernin has taken his role as treasurer very seriously, proposing a fine system for the lowest scoring coach each week. A noble idea, unless, of course. However, the more pressing issue, the integrity of the game itself. Some believe 2,000 points in a round is an excessive, almost grotesque, display of fantasy footballing gluttony. And to combat such vulgarity, a penalty has been proposed, 1 Bitcoin for every point scored beyond 2,000. At current market value, that's enough to bankrupt a man by the bye rounds. Elsewhere in the league, talk of structural change has left many scratching their heads. The introduction of Theflex position, a rule seemingly lifted from a Ross Lyon press conference, has confused and divided, a position that can be anything, yet somehow means nothing. In brighter news, early expert analysis, namely Mernin's own assessment, has declared Buckle Up Buckaroos and the Boondock Saints as the most improved teams post-draft. Whether that's an astute observation or an elaborate setup for disappointment remains to be seen. And just when the league thought it had everything figured out, a cyclone postpones the season opener, throwing the entire scoring and bye-round calculations into chaos. The group chat, already a hub of nonsense, now a full-blown disaster zone. If only the AFL's scheduling team had Mernin's tenacity, we might have had a solution by now. The season looms, the anticipation builds, and the prize, Mernin has promised a championship brooch for this year's winner. A far cry from the glorious trophy of years past, but a prize nonetheless. And so, the battle begins. Flex spots remain a mystery. Scoring remains a crime, and the Lotus Garden awaits. It's fantasy football, and it's never looked better.